Here we go, LifeCON letter number 19, June 19th. This young man typed it out. Dear Ethan, I was very moved by your presentation. I have always been a good student, but I worry about the future. Your performance reminded me to think before I say anything or take any actions. I honestly could never step in your shoes. I couldn't deal with the stress associated with your life. It amazes me how you rebounded so much and proved everybody wrong. It is truly unbelievable. You especially moved me with the fact that you decided to change your way of life after the accident. You completely shifted your mindset and worked harder than everybody to get where you are now. I can't imagine going through boot camp that you described, but it certainly seems worth it considering you get to share your story. You made everything vivid, almost like I was watching everything play out in person. Few speakers that I've listened to have succeeded in capturing that trait to your story. You even managed to make me jump a few times. I have no doubts that you have already saved a few lives and will continue to save more. Keep it up. I've probably done 300 speeches since then. So I can't imagine how good I've got at storytelling since. And that's the whole point of why my speech is tailored the way it is to make it as digestible as possible, to make it a movie. I don't come in as a typical speaker. I try to tell a story in the sense of it's a movie. I take them on highs and lows and ups and downs, and as you can see, I make this young man jump. There's an art to it. And I didn't know that when I started. Just like studying comedians. There's an art to being a comic. It's not just about the punchline or the actual joke itself. It's the setup, it's the timing, it's the awareness. It's the how do you have the audience hanging on this word and then 5 minutes later you have them jumping to this story or comment. Like part of my speech, I talk about a moment in the first 5 minutes of the speech and I don't come back to it until like 30 minutes later. And that's all on purpose. It's all tied together. It's a craft, it's a profession. It's the same with basketball. You have all these casual basketball people out there that are trying to teach people their dribbling moves and when to use it, but they have no understanding of when and how to use it and at what point in time and when that body's turned just by that little half inch of that's the time that move works, not every single possession, not after every single time that ball swung and somebody closes out high hand and nobody's there to recover. You don't use that move, you use this move. Now all that is so intricate and so small, you don't understand the details. A word here translate to a word here. A sentence, a structure over here to make them cliffhang on this story to bring them back 10 minutes later. Now I didn't know all that when I was beginning to speak. I just told my story as it was. But after the years of doing it over and over and saying my speech 10,000 times, you start to decide and figure out different ways to make it impactful. I've studied a lot of speakers, and it's sad that they're speakers. Because what they do is like reading out of a book. It's boring, it's bland. It's the same thing over and over. Now, yes, my story is the same thing over and over, but it's told in different measures, in different ways. Some audiences, I take out stories or remove stories to make it fit for that audience. Then some jokes don't hit. Some do. Got to the point the last couple tours, the people I was working with, we decide on whether or not my freestyle was going to hit at the beginning of the speech. So we'd always kind of make a little wager, me and a couple of the people that were on the road with me. Sometimes those schools, the bigger schools, go nuts because they understand hip-hop and they rap and all that type of stuff. And then you get to some of these schools who know nothing about rap, and then you do it and there's crickets. It's only happened 3 times. But then you get to a place where you think it's going to be crickets, and you do that verse, and all of a sudden they're going bonkers and they love it. And it's just an icebreaker. It's something different to do. I don't write like I used to. I don't have bars like I used to. But it's something that I've used and practiced over the years. And again, it has a tie into my entire story. I don't just do it for fun. It's a part of why I do my keynote. It ties in significantly to moments within my keynote. So for him to not want to walk in my shoes and not understand boot camp, and boot camp was awesome. I loved boot camp. It was hard, but it was fun because I liked being challenged at that time, physically, mentally. I mean, I was prepared for it. Most of the other inmates weren't. They've never been through two-a-days on a college basketball team where that type of stuff happens all day, every day for the gym. The only difference is this was 24/7. This was somebody talking in the middle of the night. Your entire platoon gets trashed at 2 a.m. in the morning, and you get called out of your bunks, and you have to roll out of your bunk at 2 a.m. and start doing push-ups and sit-ups and hit-ems to the point where dudes are throwing up or passing out. 2 a.m. in the morning because somebody went to the bathroom and woke somebody up. So now they're talking, and the CO sees it from the control booth, and they come running in and they trash the entire platoon. Now that part was different. Taking us in the pit, big sand pit, making it, from second phase from first phase to second phase, and dudes throwing up on each other, and we got vomit and spaghetti noodles on our cold weather gear, and they're making us do push-ups and hit-ups and sit-ups through all that stuff. That was boot camp. And again, that was fun for me. The boot camp piece wasn't that hard, but it challenged me. And there were a couple moments that I did want to quit, but it wasn't because of the PT or the physical stuff. It was the mental. They were understaffed at the time, so we had hours throughout the day where we didn't do anything, and we just had to stand on line and just stare at a wall. And the amount of pain your feet would get in just by standing there, and if you got caught moving, you'd get in trouble. And they'd stand you in a corner and make you put a bucket over your head or hold a water bottle above, and if you drop the water bottle below shoulder's length, you get trashed, or the platoon would get trashed. Now that's the stuff I didn't like. But again, it turned me from a boy to a man almost instantly, so I enjoyed it. I love fighting fires. It was fun. But every letter I get's different.